On today's episode of Miss Craftlot's Lair, a Chaos Gremlin's Guide to Light Diffusers. This may or may not work. I am just a Chaos Gremlin on the internet. If you are going to try this, I highly recommend, and I am telling you now, do your research. So many of you may have realized that I have a lighting problem, whether it is way too light in the lair or too dark in my living room. There's got to be a happy medium. And I have decided that I will make the happy medium. I went perusing the online web stores, and I have decided that first off, any light diffusers or diffused light setups or whatever that I can find online are far too big for what I have available space wise in the lair. Plus, they're like all up in the air and in the pit, and I much like prefer to have my lights up and out of the way. So, why buy new lights when I already have lights? We must make the lights work. So, we have a sewing project today. So, the first light that I want to deal with is this one. Now, I have two of these, one here kind of in the walkway of my lair, and another one off over my sewing desk, which I am not going to show you right now because it's on. I also have two of these light desk lamps that I use on my desk to light whatever I am doing on my desk. So these also need to be addressed, because check out that glare. Step 1. Add padding to my new ironing board. However, I found this clip, which, yeah, that is not kind. Not kind. I need a chaos gremlin. Well, a bigger one than me. Husband, busy. Son, afraid that he was going to break it. The daughter, she won. So I took the stock I guess it was supposed to be padding off of the ironing board, and I put it on some doubled up quilt cotton batting, and I cut it out. Now, of course, this has next to nothing to do with making these diffusers. However, it's something I wanted to do, and it was something that I could do while I was waiting for the fabric to wash and dry. And once my white cotton fabric was done, I went ahead and cut it out the size that I needed for my lights. I believe the outline I cut at 14 inches by 10 inches, so in that way it could be turned into a light sock sort of look. And then the shop lights got 12 by 48 inches. Technically, I could have gotten away with 11 inches, but it's easier to measure out 12 inches, so that's what I did. I decided to hem these just in case they did work. So I did a 1/2 inch seam on all of the short edges. Yes, I said all. I did happen to realize my mistake when I went to sew the end of the light socks for the lights. Also, I don't always use a hem ruler, but I do when getting it perfect just doesn't matter. Y'all, this is a what I did video, not a tutorial. This craft gremlin will do what this craft gremlin will do. And then it came time to sew. I did sew all of these seams together similar to how I would sew patchwork pieces, one long strip to cut apart when I was done with the sewing. I pressed the longer seams on the fabric for the shop lights because it was at this time that I realized the error with the light socks. It is absolutely amazing the rhythm you can get into when everything is going well with your machine. I had no hiccups with the machine this time, and I am so pleased. When I finished the sewing, I did end up getting up on a ladder to hang them up. However, I was not about to sit here and subject y'all to that footage, so yeah. Okay, so this is what it looks like with the hot lights with their little light socks. Now we'll see what it looks like with the big LED shop lights with their covers. And here we are with all four of the diffusers in place. I can see somewhat of a difference. Um, I don't think you could see all of these on videos before. Like you couldn't see the entire catalog of stitches. I need to go take a look. I need to verify that. However, this is without any like messing around with camera settings because this was easier for me than messing with camera settings. Hey, I am a chaos gremlin. That's all I have to say about it. Okay. In going back and looking, I think you could still see those, but just not as clear. I'm I do notice that I have a lot less like glare, and as I'm like messing with my shirt, I'm messing with my mic. So, oops. I don't think I need to mess with camera settings, but I can. However, this was a good start to me instead of messing with camera settings because I don't understand what all those numbers mean. I can mess around with the little slide things, but I don't know what that means in photography speak. This is not the end of this. I will be back with a review of my differences um, coming up in the next month or so. Probably, probably beginning of January. But well, if you like this, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if I am able to, or if you are able to, I would greatly appreciate hype. So then that way, maybe my videos can get to other people who are also chaos gremlins or just would like to see what a chaos gremlin could do in her craft room. So until next time, bye!